So, I have a question. What happens when you plug two HyperX Alloy Core keyboards onto your system? And what will NGenuity Beta do? Will it recognize both keyboards? Let's find out. So we've got the cable, and all we got to do is plug that in here. All right, we're gonna start now, and I guess let's train this onto NGenuity and see. As you can see, it can see one keyboard, and I'm plugging the other keyboard right now. Well, trying to anyway. Just trying to. What do you know? It recognizes it as keyboard 2. And what is strange is that our initial keyboard, RGB, just sort of disappeared. What's going on there? And of course, the other keyboard needs an update, which we will do. So I don't remember this plugin being required last time, but there, I've done that. And now, as I mentioned, we have two keyboards. And I'm going to click on keyboard, and that brings up that. And I'm going to I'm going to click on the second keyboard, and that brings up that. And as you can see, both keyboards are lighted. Let's fix the cabling here for a bit. There. So that's good to know that the NGenuity software is indeed ingenious, and it's not dumb as I was fearing. And here we go. Let's click on the caps lock. That turns on. Let me put that here. See? Well, that's good. Consistent. Let's see. Scroll lock. Nothing happened. Something should have. How about the game key? Function game. Alright, the lights came on. Well, that's good. Okay. So yeah. And as far as the keys are concerned, there are no, I didn't add any extra keys onto keyboard 2 or on keyboard 1. I actually do have, or I don't have. So for keyboard 1, I have some, I did put some light settings here really quickly, and for keyboard 2, it shows about the same. So I wonder. Let's mess around with this a little bit more. So why don't we change the wave, the style for keyboard 2? Let's change it from, let's remove wave, and let's choose the triggered effect to I don't know, I like fade, so let's use fade, and let's add an effect, and let's choose confetti, and add that. Right, and let's select all lights visible. Okay, so now they're different. So keyboard 1, oh no, if you saw that, we changed the settings for keyboard 2 to confetti. Let's save that to the keyboard as profile 1. And then let's go to keyboard. And as you can see, it also has the same setting as keyboard 2. Let's, and if you take a look, they are now both on confetti. And if you remember, keyboard 1 originally was on wave. So what we can do to override that is to perhaps change the lighting from, swap it out with flame. Let's add that and change the effect to, I believe I had wave. Add that and choose keyboard 1 and save it to the keyboard in the first profile. Right, that shows saved. And now if we take a look, no, what happened here? Right? Nothing. So so no, they're now both wave. Oh, that is sad. So now we know something, that NGenuity will accept however many keyboards, I would assume, but in terms of the effects, right? In terms of the effects, it will only respect one effect setting, and it's not going to be per keyboard. Even if you save the setting to even if you save the setting to the individual keyboard. Is there a way to change that? Does saving it save it to both keyboards, and therefore can we unplug one and swap out the other? Let's try. I mean, you get what I'm trying to do here. So first keyboard, and we're going to stick with flame and the wave, and I'm going to save it to the keyboard in the first slot. And then what we can do, and that was keyboard 1. Is there a way to rename this? No. And we will unplug this. And then for the second one, where it's not only registering as the second one, we will change that to a explosion effect, and then remove wave and change it to, what's a nice color? Solid, swipe, confetti. How about swipe? Almost like wave, but a little more blocky, right? So let's add that. And let's save that to for all lights. And then let's make it fast. Sorta. Change the direction to there. Okay. And then let's save it to the keyboard in the first slot. There. So what does that mean? That means that it should be saved to the keyboard regardless of what happened. However, as you can see, that's not what's happening. Let's save it to the second slot. Swipe. It's supposed to be going down. And save it to the keyboard. It doesn't want to choose a profile. You see that? It doesn't. That is odd. In fact, I don't have those keys on here, so it should match that. So Very odd. Okay, what we'll do is we will turn off the Origins Core and basically restart the app. Let's do that. So it again asks for permission to install it, and now it's registered as the single keyboard, and to which we will, there we go. So now it's doing what we want. Well, we will save that to the keyboard in the first slot. And let's see if you notice that got saved. So let's plug in the other one and see what happens. Okay, I got them plugged. Now what happened is both of them are now doing the explosion and swipe, which was what I had originally saved. So I guess that answers the question, is that it really only takes one, regardless if you, and I guess it'll change, it'll save the profile into whatever slot. Sadly. Well, one thing we can do is we can change the lights into a different profile, function profile here, and then change that manually. I'm assuming that will work. So let's, I'll try to do that offline and then show you the final result, because this video is really getting a little longer. So here's what I've done. I put the, this is the first keyboard setting, and then the second setting is this, and the third setting would be nothing, right? So, and then let's plug the other keyboard and see what happens. But first, let's put this back to F1. We will unplug this, then plug the other one. So here in it's reverse. So we have this function in setting 1. In setting 2, we have the wave. In setting 3, we have nothing. So first keyboard settings are basically reversed. So and I have this in function 3. So nothing. Let's plug in the other one. And now I have both in function 3. And let's put the both let's change the functions to function 1. And now I also have NGenuity off, unloaded, because it likes to stick in the background. If you notice, it's got a that's a reactive setting. Interesting. Similar. So F1. So now I have the wave in F1, and as I showed you, that was reversed in the second keyboard. Haha, voila. So you can force it. It's except it's just on the software side, it's kind of silly. Let me just turn off the light so it'll be more pronounced. All right, the lights are off, and as you can see, it's more pronounced. Again, this is in setting 1. Let me put it on setting 2. So now they should be the same, but also their directions. I changed the direction to be, so it's obvious that they are different. Let me put that to setting 2 as well, and now that is on a wave. Right, and then function 3, nothing. Function setting 3, right, and reactive. Let me put this to the first one, and let me put this to the first one. Actually, let's put it to the second one so that we've got the same swipe setting, was it? But in different directions. So yeah, there is a way for you to let two HyperX keyboards follow different lighting settings. That is, if you have two HyperX keyboards, of course, to play with. But at least this shows you a quick hack if you like to have keyboards, or for some reason you want to use your keyboard as some like a background lighting, like what I'm doing here with the Rogue Strix, because I really like that strip. And unfortunately, it looks like the Strix is going home, as it were. I love the lighting on the Strix too, but on the scope. But what it has going for it is was supposedly macro keys, but you also can get macro keys with these keyboard with the HyperX now with the NGenuity in beta. Since someone reviewed it, the macro keys was the one that was missing, mentioned as a creature comfort. But yeah, now that this keyboard has the same thing, the only thing that has going for it is lighting. So if I can copy the lighting, as it were, to this one, then it'll be the same, right? Except of course for this beautiful light bar here. That's really pretty. I mean, it's hard to discount that light bar, and you will not get the same smooth setting here to make it sort of consistent with my CPU. Hold on a second, let me pan there for a second. So as you can see, that very smooth light bar is on the memory kits and as well as on the graphics card. So that light bar actually would be more consistent with the design of what I have, except for the fact that that's little the way it's lighting is kind of faded. There might be a way to make it brighter, perhaps, but yeah, it has a lot to do with the caps I have. It looks pretty bright and pretty on camera, but when it's not being filmed like this, it's pretty faded, and you can see that when compared with the HyperX side by side, right? So this has a more subdued lighting. It's it has its allure. But well, that is on the CPU side, and if you will notice, if I want to match things that are happening on my desktop, such as the launch pad here and the SL Mark III, these keyboards and keypads lean more towards this versus that being congruent. This is called Vegas lighting. Novation hasn't provided a way to make the lighting like different light setting. That would be nice, if they would do that in obviously on software. But I haven't seen that yet. So that's this is like a firmware update. So it's not really a software setting that you can mess around with immediately. And then compared to functionality, I would rather have them focus their efforts on more functionality, VSTs and other things, and macros and automation on those devices rather than the lighting. So for the keyboards as themselves, it looks like we are going to keep these, well, one of these, and then let the other one go. At least it's hard. It really is hard. I love the lighting. I really do. You can tell. I've said it many times, but for consistency for desktop, one has to go. All right?